Our town, Harmony Creek, was the kind of place where nothing really happened. News was usually about the annual pie contest or a minor traffic jam on Main Street. That's why when the call came into WCHR, our tiny local radio station, 2 weeks before everything changed, it was just another weird Tuesday for old Hank, the morning DJ. He'd seen it all. Conspiracy theorists, lonely hearts, folks just wanting to hear their name on the air. But this call was different. "A tremor is coming," a voice calm and steady stated. "Category 7, clear the schools by 2:17 p.m. on the 14th. Hank chuckled, jotting it down on a napkin. "All right there, Nostradamus. Anything else we should know?" The voice simply repeated the warning, then hung up. Hank made a joke about it on air. Listeners called in with their own jabs, and by noon, the earthquake guy was just another forgotten eccentric. The date, October 14th, started like any other autumn day. Crisp air, golden leaves, the sky was clear. No one thought about the radio call. Not until 2:17 p.m., the ground beneath us roared. It wasn't a rumble, it was a violent, guttural tearing. My coffee mug flew off the desk. Bookshelves crashed, the power flickered, then died. For what felt like an eternity, but was probably less than 30 seconds, Harmony Creek swayed and buckled. When the shaking stopped, silence descended, thick and suffocating, followed by the terrifying symphony of sirens, screams, and the distant sound of breaking glass. It was a Category 7, just as he'd said. Miraculously, there were no fatalities in the schools, thanks to a faulty fire alarm that had forced an evacuation just minutes before the quake hit. A bizarre twist of fate or something more? Buildings were damaged, some collapsed entirely, hundreds were injured. Our quiet town was suddenly a disaster zone. Amidst the chaos, amidst the rubble and the paramedics, one question started to ripple through the traumatized community. The man on the radio. Reporters, sensing a story beyond the disaster, descended on WCHR. Hank, pale and shaken, could only confirm the call. The station manager, trying to reconstruct the events, pulled the phone logs. And that's when the real mystery began. There was no record of the call, none. The line had connected, the conversation had happened, but the phone system had no log of it, no originating number. It was as if the call had been a phantom. Panic began to set in. Was it a hoax, a terrifying coincidence, or something far more sinister? The police opened an investigation, but with no call record, no caller ID, no voice recognition match in any database, they had nothing. The man who knew tomorrow had simply vanished back into the ether from which he seemingly came. Then, a week after the quake, a tiny, frail woman named Agnes Albright called the local newspaper. Agnes was 92, a Harmony Creek native whose memory was sharper than anyone half her age. She rarely left her house, but she saw everything that happened in the town. "I know who that man was," she rasped, her voice trembling but clear. "He didn't vanish, he always vanishes." She described him. Average height, nondescript clothes, but eyes that seemed to hold the weight of ages. And then she told her story. 30 years ago, almost to the day, Harmony Creek had faced a different disaster. A flood, a severe, unexpected flash flood that nearly wiped out the old mill district. Agnes, then a young woman, remembered seeing the same man. He stood by the river, calmly warning people to evacuate, describing the exact time the levee would break. Everyone thought he was a lunatic, until it happened. Then, just like now, he was gone without a trace. Same face, same voice. Same impossible, accurate warning, and no one could ever find him or any record of his existence. He simply appeared, delivered his prophecy, and disappeared, leaving only chaos and disbelief in his wake. The revelation from Agnes Albright sent a fresh wave of chills through Harmony Creek. It wasn't just a random prophet, it was a recurring phenomenon, a ghost of warnings. The man who knew tomorrow wasn't a local eccentric. He was a living enigma tied to the town's greatest tragedies. Some whispered he was an angel, others a demon. Most just felt a deep, unsettling dread, wondering when he would reappear and what horror he would foretell next. The police had no answers. Psychologists offered theories of mass hysteria or a rare, unexplained psychological phenomenon. But for the people of Harmony Creek, Agnes's story resonated with an uncomfortable truth. The mysterious man became a part of the town's folklore, a chilling cautionary tale passed down in hushed tones. Today, Harmony Creek is rebuilt. The scars of the earthquake have faded from the buildings, but not from the collective memory. Every time a storm cloud gathers or a distant rumble of thunder echoes, a nervous tension hangs in the air. We scan the faces of strangers, a quiet question in our eyes. Has he returned? Is he watching? We live with the uneasy knowledge that our town has a guardian, or perhaps a harbinger, who walks among us unseen and unknowable, carrying the knowledge of future disasters. And we can only wonder when the phone will ring at WCHR again, and if this time, we will listen. If you're gripped by real-life mysteries and shocking confessions, hit that subscribe button. Join the Story Shock family for more true stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.